Hi everyone. Our story for today is called Three French Hens, and it's by Margie Palatini and Richard Igaliski. Now, there's a song called The 12 Days of Christmas, and it starts off on the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me partridge in a pear tree. When you get to three French hens, two turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. Well, we're going to learn about the three French hens. All right. Let me get my reading glasses on. Got to take off my candy cane. All right. Three French hens. On the third day of Christmas, a mademoiselle, a woman from Paris, sent her true love three French hens, two turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. So she is sending all of these things to her true love, to her boyfriend or her husband. Uh-oh, the hens never arrived. So the mail got lost. Uh-oh, we can see right here on the tag, because of the rain, the address kind of got smudged. Three French hens. In the unclaimed mail department of the New York City Post Office, since the hens were mailed off during a Paris drizzle, the address on their package ended up smudged. Yes, not a word could be read. And somehow, someway, the ladies became, shall we say, misdirected. Alas, undeliverable. However, Colette, Paulette, and Fifi were not about to be left languishing as unclaimed mail when they had a true love to make happy. No, no. After all, this was Christmas, and they were French. We will deliver ourselves, declared the trio. Yet, as determined as any three French hens could be, how were they to find this Monsieur Philippe Renaud? Of course, the phone book, proclaimed Colette. Paulette flipped and flapped through the page after page, and sadly there was not a Philippe Renard to be found. All still looked lost, including the hens. And then, "This is New York, not Paris," exclaimed Fifi. "We must translate. It is not Philippe Renard, but Phil Fox, who we must see." So in French, Philippe is Phil, and Renard is Fox. Uh-oh, a fox. And so the three French hens dusted themselves off, picked themselves up, and headed into the subway in search of Mr. Phil Fox. So a subway is another word for a train. It's a train that usually runs underground. And that's where people will hold on so they don't fall, or people will put their bags and such, and they're all sitting up there. Meanwhile, somewhere in New York City, down on his luck, Phil Fox was staring out his window with no view. He did not have a true love. He did not even have a friend, unless he counted the cockroach. Why, the poor fellow hadn't had a square meal in a month. These were lean times for Phil, very lean times. As he watched the first snowflakes of the season fall, he made a wish. Phil looked over to the cockroach and shrugged. "Hey, my luck's just gotta change pretty soon, right? 'Tis the season." And suddenly there was a knock on the door. "Bonjour! Merry Christmas! Joyeux Noël, Monsieur Philippe Renaud!" sang out the three French hens. "We are Colette, Paulette, and Fifi. A present from your true love." Now, Phil knew all well and good that he was not Philippe Renard. He was very sure he wasn't anyone's true love, and he barely knew a word of French. But hey, Phil was a clever enough fox to recognize a free meal when he saw one. Three French hens on his doorstep? It was better than Chinese takeout. Well, 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 gulped Phil. Parlez-vous entree? Asked the hens. Entree? Entree. So parlez-vous entree means can we come in? But when you have an entree, it means like it's a dinner. Like, oh, for my entree, I'd like to have spaghetti. Oh, but he's like, entree? Entree? Oh, can he have you for dinner? He answered with a grin, and he thought about roasting, frying, and sauteing them as they walked through the door. So he's thinking of ways to cook them. No. Before Phil could get out his cookbook, Colette whisked the fox into the salle de bain, to the bathroom. Pour vous, for you, Monsieur Philippe, she clucked, showing him a tub filled with perfume bubbles. A bath had been foreign to Phil in the past, but if this was good enough for Philippe, Phil thought that he would try it too. The water was warm and wonderful. The fragrance was heavenly. Phil sniffed and soaked and sighed. He knew there was no way he could eat Colette for breakfast. Most certainly not after she'd given him a manicure, a new coif, like a new knight's fancy hairdo, and dressed him in such dandy new attire. He looked so swell, swanky, dare he say debonair. So he's like, I can't eat her now. She did a nice thing for me. The new natty Phil looked in the mirror. He looked at the beaming Colette. Phil sighed and smiled wistfully. He was definitely going to have to skip breakfast. But when Paulette called him from the other room, Foxy Phil was ready for lunch. Voila, Monsieur Philippe, declared Paulette with a flourish. Whoa, Phil could hardly believe his eyes. His space was no longer shabby but chic, and standing tall in the corner was the most beautiful twinkling tinseled tree. I am the wonder with the needle thread and evergreen, oui? Paulette said proudly. Like, doesn't it look really good? Like, I'm really good at decorating. It's beautiful. She did a great job with his apartment. Yes, oui, agreed Phil as the tasteful hen ushered him to a big stuffed chair by the crackling fire. She plumped and poofed up a pillow, slid a tuffet under his slippered toes like a little footrest. Phil felt so warm, so comfy, so cozy, so not able to have Paulette for lunch, not even for hors d'oeuvres, not even for like a little snack. However, though, Phil might have felt toasty and looked swanky, but his tummy was still cranky. When it began to grumble loudly, Phil's thoughts wandered to hen number 3. Oh, yes, Mr. Fox was planning dinner with Fifi. Bon appetit, Monsieur Philippe, shouted Chef Fifi as she came through the swinging kitchen door. She held a tray high with canapes, consommes, hollandaise, and pâtés, all different kinds of French food. She had salad niçoise and bowls of vichyssoise, salads niçoise, I don't know how to say that, and bowls of vichyssoise, parfaits, creme brulee, chocolate mousse, charlotte russe. So all these yummy foods for Phil. And he thought that he was going to eat Fifi. Phil sniffed, he tasted, he nibbled, he noshed. He looked at the 3 hens and the tower of French food and thought, so who needs chicken? He delicately wiped his chin with a monogrammed napkin. Now that's what he called a breakfast, lunch, and dinner, with style too. Yes, Phil was feeling very happy and full. He was also feeling something else, and it wasn't indigestion. Like he was saying, oh, my tummy's not like hurting or anything, so what am I feeling? Phil was so filled with holiday spirit and a guilty conscience that he finally confessed, ladies, I gotta get this off my chest. I'm not who you think I am. I'm a fake, a phony. I'm faux. I'm not even French. The hens huddled, clucked, and concluded, that does not matter. But I don't have a true love, continued Phil. Not even a friend. It's only me and the cockroach. I don't even get kissed under the mistletoe. That does not matter, the three hens repeated. Phil hung his head and gulped with guilt. You don't understand. I'm not Philippe Renard from Paris. I'm just plain old Phil Fox from the Bronx. That does not matter, the trio trilled. We like you just the way you are. Mon ami, our friend Phil. Friend? Phil felt a little lump in his throat. Even the cockroach had a tear in his eye. So even after he told them, I'm not who you think I am, they still loved him for who he was. Phil never thought he would have such fine friends, certainly not feathered ones. How could he ever repay their kindness? Then Phil looked under his twinkling tree. There were so many presents, too many for just one simple fox. What the heck, thought Phil. It's Christmas. He would share his good fortune and holiday cheer with his new friends. He handed Colette, Paulette, and Fifi 3 of his beautifully wrapped presents. The hens smiled but shook their heads. Wait, why? What's wrong? Asked Phil. Thank you, merci, dear friend Phil, but we cannot accept these gifts for Christmas. But why not? Asked a bewildered Phil. Paulette smiled. Because our holiday is Hanukkah. We're kosher chickens. Phil grinned and gave a hearty hug to each. No matter, I say, happy holidays to us all. So they don't celebrate Christmas. They're Jewish chickens. They celebrate Hanukkah. This could be the beginning of a beautiful friendship. And so the 3 French hens from Paris, and Phil Fox from the Bronx celebrated the rest of the 12 days of Christmas and 8 nights of Hanukkah together. And they all had a wonderful time. Including the cockroach. 3 French hens.